Ask me permission to record. Beautiful. And darling, we are on
live.
Ta-da-da-da-da. So welcome everybody to Relationship Real Talks, Relationships Real Talk. Okay, that's easy to say. With myself, Andrew Paradis, and Dr. Harmony in all the way in Georgia, and I'm in Los Angeles.
Yep.
So again, we're gonna drip on you guys. We do this every 2 weeks about basically we talk about the struggles in the modern society that men and women encounter. And again, we both have life's experience, in the world and in relationships. We've both been married for, what, you're at 27?
Oh, just 24.
24. No, just a youngin'. I'm at 30. I win.
You do.
I think so.
I'm not even going to try and compete with that. How about that?
Okay, then. But in Los Angeles, right? It's unheard of, right?
Oh, you're right. So I think you should get double points for that.
Okay.
I think
All right.
60.
Okay,
Like
whatever.
you have done something else. And you've been there forever and a day, haven't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. I met my wife here. Everything that happened in my life that's good has happened to me here in Los Angeles. Everything. My wife, my children, my business, my life, everything.
Nice.
So I'm a very fortunate man, but I've been through the ringer like the rest of us, and life is a challenge, and we have to decode everything. And we live in a culture of incredible amount of insanity, as you know, and this whole thing is about to crack. But you and I are here to bring a little bit of, I call it, we're disruptors. We want people to think and maybe rethink the cultural pace, the stuff that's not working, the feminist movement, the patriarchy is toxic, men are dangerous, and you have to shut them down. Like really, right? So that's what's not working. Everyone's confused, and nobody knows who they are any longer, right? We used to have identities, as in women raised. It cracks me up. It sounds so. What's the word? The concept.
Unreal.
Well, the concept, women's bodies. Okay, if you just look at your biology, just the biology of a beautiful feminine estrogen machine is made to make babies and continue the species. That's it, primarily, right? Like this, and the masculine, the big, strong testosterone, like fighting machine to defend and protect all of that, is what nature is.
Yes.
Right. So when we have women acting like men, dancing like, working like men, making money like men, and on the other side of, their mid-30s or in the early 40s find themselves alone, childless, and miserable. Because I mean, they literally, and I don't know how to say this without being kind of an ass about it, but like, what do you think is going to happen if you're living completely ignoring your own essence in your body, what the machine of your body is made for?
Right.
What do you think is going to happen? Right? But we convince women that it's a terrible thing.
This goes to the lies. It's the lies. There's nothing wrong with a woman working. There's nothing wrong with a woman being productive.
That's not what I'm saying.
I mean, throughout all of history, women have been successful. They've been entrepreneurs. They've been leaders. They've been consultants. They've been coaches. Yep. They have birthed. Here you go. Here's one for you, Andre. They have birthed our kings. They have birthed our queens. They have birthed and raised our leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what an influence a mom has. We look at King Solomon, and it's like they love King David. They loved their moms. Their moms, were these imperfect creatures, and we're going to get into that because we're going to get into that. They were very imperfect, and yet they created kings, and they were in balance. And what you're talking about is being out of balance. Like I made the joke earlier, I'm not going to compete with you. Of course I'm not. Even if I was 29 and a half and you were 29, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to compete. You win. Why compete? We waste our energy. We waste our time. We waste our efforts by competing for the 6 months that are truthfully not even mine to begin with.
Compete against your own nature and biology, and the price to pay for that are my clients, and it's not pretty, and they're not happy. Right, they're not happy, and but anyway, so the struggle that we're talking about today is for the women basically is feeling unseen beyond their body or roles, right? Like many women feel valued mainly for their beauty, their sexuality, their youth, their emotional caretaking, and what they provide to men, emotionally. But a lot of women quietly would still be, wonder, would I still be deeply loved if I stopped performing feminine Perfectly. Oh, that's a good question.
It is, but I have to jump in right quick and
Please.
just say that, going to your introduction is so profound because it is the role of being a mom. People are afraid to just be a mom. They're afraid to just be a wife and have children and stay at home. And it's like, it's so funny when after women do the Queen's Garden, and after they go through your classes, they come out of it, halfway through. I'm sure you see it all the time. They go, who lied to me and told me I had to work? I had to be the maid. I have to be the mom. I have to be everything. Why can't I just be a mom at home taking care of the kids and loving my husband, and they're like, we're so overwhelmed and so wrought with anxiety and stress because we're afraid just to be the role of mom or wife. If
Yep.
I hear one more woman go, oh, I don't want to be a trophy wife, I'm like, why wouldn't you? I like, why not? I'm like, okay, I mean, trophy wives, you look at some of these very successful, listen, trophy wives. I mean, what Trump's wife is the perfect example. Ivanka, smart, intelligent, she's creative, she's beautiful, she's
That's a
graceful, she's
makes her own.
fearful,
Yep, yep.
makes, yeah, she, like, I don't know, this is pretty impressive. I'll be a trophy wife.
Seriously.
So it's like, why are we afraid to embrace our roles, and yet we're so worried about being unseen beyond our role, and we haven't even stepped into our roles.
Seriously. But I think that's the farce again of the feminist movement because
Ah,
women are actually now raised that unless they do the masculine paradigm life, independent, strong, independent, powerful, that's all masculine, by the way. That doesn't make women happy. It burns you out within 20 years. But I think what I see all the time is that the idea that if they don't do this, follow the trend, I call it the tidal wave of the culture right now is that if you don't do this as a woman, you a betrayal to the sisterhood. We don't need no man, and you're supposed to be
right,
strong, independent because you got to prove, I'm a woman. Hear me roar. What the hell? What the hell? Right? Again,
right.
so I mean, women. It's so funny that we have a new movement. I don't know if you're aware of this. I think we talked about this a little bit. It's called traditional women are coming back. They call them trad women. Right? These are
I've
like,
heard trad
yeah,
women. I've
trad
heard
women.
crunchy moms. I've heard about the crunchy roll moms or something like
I don't
that.
know what that is.
Yeah.
But trad women, it's a new term, right? So these are young
Right.
women in their 20s who have seen their mothers struggle, strong, independent, powerful, single mom, three kids, struggling with life, being masculine, being miserable, being burnt out, never being present, completely like, you know, nothing nurturing about Mama Bear because Mama Bear is in survival mode and, and providing protecting role, not feminine. Anyway, so these young girls where moms want to say, you need to not, you can't trust men because she couldn't, right? And years of it, everything that they became, the moms, the daughters are like, forget this crap. I'm not living like you. I am not doing this. I've seen how miserable you are, and you still are. You're angry, you're tired, you're overwhelmed, you're lonely, and you want me to follow your steps. Forget that crap. And women, like young girls, are turning into, I'm going to be somebody's somebody's wife. I'm gonna have his kids, and I'll be glad to make him a sandwich and do his laundry in an air conditioning house when he's doing construction at 104 in Texas in the summer.
Amen.
All right.
Right?
She goes, that's a rough life. That's something to turn your nose up on. So
Right.
you want me under like fluorescent light, 8 hours a day, 9 and 9.5 with traveling, give all my good natural feminine energy to people I don't care about to come home to continue working the second job, which is the homemaking, for where I
Right.
have no energy left to nurture them,
They're
no
exhausted.
energy left, right? So that whole lie of you could have it all as a woman, the feminist movement's crap, is a
Mhm.
lie. And I don't know any woman who could do it. Twice a year, Harmony, twice a year, I have a woman call me and say something to me like, so, I have a problem. I go, okay, what's the problem? She goes, well, I don't know. I don't know. Something's wrong with me. What's wrong with you? I have everything. I have a husband. I have I make six figure. I have a good job. I have a husband. I have two wonderful kids. I have a house. We have everything. I'm like, what's the problem? She goes, well, that's my problem. She goes, on paper, I have everything. I have everything that everybody says I'm supposed to have,
Mhm.
right? However, I feel hollow. I
Yep.
feel empty.
Yep.
right? I'm not present. I give all my good energy to people I don't care about at work.
Right.
I come home exhausted. I can't connect with my husband. I can't connect with my children. I feel like a shell of myself. There's nothing about my life is satisfying, but on paper, I have everything. What's wrong with me?
Mhm.
I go, darling, you have two full-time jobs. No one can
Mhm.
sustain that. You're burning out. You're burning the candle at both ends. You
Mhm.
cannot work eight, nine and a half hours a week,
Right.
a day traveling and all that crap that it requires, and then come home and continue it and make everything work. Like that's unsustainable.
Mhm.
But again, if you're going to be, if you're going to follow the culture, you're supposed to be able to do it all. It's a joke. It doesn't work.
Well,
It's not.
it's really a farce, and I really appreciate you focusing on women and just the toll that this type of
Yeah.
lifestyle is having on the toll. You're right, it's two full-time jobs. We're out of juice by the end of the day. We don't have time for self-care, which is super, super important.
Hello.
Not self-love is a different conversation, let's not confuse it.
Mm,
But I really want to pay, to due diligence. And women, you really, really, really need to hear this, that, the lack of appreciation that we have for our husbands. And really it's probably just because we're so burnt out. We're just so, so
completely.
burnt out. I just have to back up for a minute and say,
Yes.
this week, Saturday, I had
Mm,
to go to my grandchildren's birthday party,
okay.
and they had it outside, in the heat wave, in the heat index, outside. Like, no, I'm not doing anything but just standing there fanning myself, trying to stay cool and taking care of my mother, who's
Yeah.
like about to die at 84 in the heat index, feeding her ice water and the grandchildren. You get the picture.
Yeah.
So I come home to my husband and I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you I had this new profound appreciation for my husband who, yes, he does do a lot of desk work with tech, but he has to go outside in
Mm-hmm.
tech. He has to go
Mm-hmm.
outside and install security cameras and climb cell towers. Can you imagine climbing a 300-foot tower in the heat index because you've got to fix the Weather Channel balls radar or something over my head?
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, if he had asked for any favors at that point or to turn in any brownie points, I would have given them to him. I mean, the appreciation was huge. And,
Uh,
and I wanted to bring that up because yes, women are exhausted. Yes, women are totally beat. Yes, they're confused about their bodies, about their role, what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to be. But men are not being loved, or they're not even being. And let's go back up, because remember, Andre, men don't require love, they require respect.
yes.
They're
I'm
not
just.
being respected and appreciated for what they're bringing to the table. Yeah, that's great that wife or woman is bringing home X amount of dollars, but so is husband. He's providing the stability, protection, status, problem solving,
Safety.
emotional
Yep.
labor, intelligence, etc. The Rock. The
Thank
Rock.
you.
It's like Atlas Shrugged. Have you seen that picture of Atlas Shrugged carrying the
Mm.
world, got it on his
Oh, yeah, yeah,
shoulders,
yeah, 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 yeah. Of
and
course.
I mean, it's like that's my husband
Mm-hmm.
in the heat. Totally profound new appreciation and respect for
Yeah.
what he's doing, right? And so I want to acknowledge that and make sure that all women know you're just as cranky as he might be. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
women are so judgmental. They're like, man, well, okay, great. And there's a conversation later to have about negotiation, how to negotiate, and but at the end of the day, neither person in this type of lifestyle, neither man nor woman, is being appreciated or able to be in their proper roles
Right. Their
without
lane.
being
I call it their
totally
lane.
exhausted or
Hmm.
totally unappreciated and respected.
Yeah.
I just had to make sure the
Yeah,
men were.
no, I'm just saying, like, what I hear, when I have these conversations with women who are burnt out and whatever, right, unhappy and kind of
Mhm,
judgmental of their husband, right? And I says, but he's out there for 10 hours. I used to do construction. I was on the
mhm,
roof. I was one of those
mhm,
guys.
mhm.
You know what I mean? So at 105 degrees on the East Coast when it's like 200% humidity, like, like this up, you freaking died from heat stroke,
On
whatever.
top of black tar paper.
Right.
Hello?
Oh yeah, but that's just, that's the job. That's what you got to do, right? Somebody's got to do it. But
Mm,
I hear women say stuff like, "Well, he's supposed to be working. That's his job. He's supposed to be working." I'm
right.
like, "Really? So I'm gonna put you on the roof for a couple of days You know what I mean? And see how you feel about that, right? But like again, the lack of appreciation, like you said, and understanding what it takes and what men are willing to take on in order to provide to families, and but to get a little appreciation, a little respect, coming home like, red as a lobster for being on the roof, for like weeks at a time, by the way, weeks at a time, a little bit of like, thank you for everything you do for us, babe. Here's a sandwich. How about you just chill out? I'm gonna get stuff, a comfortable place. I call it a soft place to land. At the end of the day, is all men require. Right
Well,
now,
I
if
have
you
to tell you, you'd be so proud of me, Audrey.
tell me,
Yeah, let me tell you. So my husband was out in this heat. It was terrible, terrible. And I called his client and I said, I know my husband's outside working. Would you do me a favor? And they're like, okay, that's kind of odd for the wife to be
sure,
called, right?
sure,
And I
sure,
said, would you please take him out a big tall glass of ice water for me? And it was this dead silence. This woman on the other line,
yeah,
she's like, water? And I go, yes, ma'am, with ice in it. Would you buy with a lot of ice? Okay. She goes, okay, okay. And then so she like this thought had never crossed her mind ever,
yep,
ever. And I just thought that that was so interesting how, we're so afraid as women to fulfill the role of femininity, to fulfill the role of being in service, to fulfill the role. That's what's beautiful.
yeah.
That's what's sexy. That's what
Nurturing,
emotional caring
loving,
is.
present,
Right.
anticipating my needs before I even know them. This is all the feminine paradigm that you have built in
Mhm,
beautifully, naturally. But we're
mhm.
gonna go against that and act like men
Right.
and wonder why there's a disconnect. Be that people like, men will pull out if you're gonna act like a man. Men aren't interested in masculine energy. Women, men,
Mhm,
get actually quite irritated with that in my face energy.
mhm,
Opposite of what works, opposite of nature. So you can be boss babe, that's fine, but understand
mhm,
that's not necessarily gonna help you dynamic with men in any way,
mhm,
whether you work with them or trying to be with them, right, or date them, right? There's again, and again, it's not. I'm not saying every woman needs to be a wife and a mother, and
correct,
stay home. I'm not saying
correct,
that, but there's a balance, and if you're gonna like step into the world wanted to act like men, compete like men, fight like men, conquer like men, the price to pay all of my clients, women, right, is typically midlife, realizing no
mhm,
husband, no relationship, no kids. Uh-oh, Houston, we have a problem. And now facing the second half of life alone
yeah,
on antidepressant, drinking box wine with six
yeah.
cats in the house. I mean, I'm not being an ass about this. This is very common. I'm not making fun. It's not funny. It's tragic. But ladies, wake the hell up.
Well, I will tell you, one of my friends, she said, and she was in the Queen's Garden, she goes, I've got to figure this man thing. I've got to figure this out. She goes, I've been sick for a whole week staring at my two dogs, and neither one of them can bring me chicken soup or hot
Right.
chicken noodle soup. I'm
Right?
like, yeah, right. No kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, and not that she's looking for a servant. She's just like, there's no support in this. There is
Right.
absolutely no support in this whatsoever.
Yeah. And
You
again,
know,
burnout, exhaustion, loneliness, you know what I mean? Antidepressant, box
mhm,
wine, cats.
mhm,
Wow, that sounds really exciting to me. I'm gonna
mhm,
tell you a story just again, so I won't take this point home. I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just saying, freaking think it through or rethink it. Forget everything that you were told by a culture who's trying to really keep you from what makes you the happiest in the end. I'm just saying, right? So this young girl that was in my gym this few years back, she's in my gym, cute little thing, right? Strong, independent, two master's degrees, smart as hell, right?
mhm,
Could do whatever the hell she wants, but just before she just right at 30, I think, 30 to 31 when I met her, she's like, I can do whatever I want. I'm smart. I have two masters, right? But she goes, I realized, again, femininity, I tapped into her femininity naturally more, maybe, right?
mhm,
She getting sucked in all the way in. And she's like,
mhm,
I realize that I want to experience my life. I want to experience life of love. And she
mhm,
goes, what it means to me when I think it through, right, is I have nothing to prove to anybody or the world with my smarts. What I want a life of love is having a husband who allow me to have children that I could raise Be there in the
Amen.
morning to get him up, be there at night to put him to sleep, be there to nurture them, be there to pick him up from school, right? This is to me a life of love. I
Mhm.
want two children. She said intuitively she knew they were coming. I understand this because it happened to me. I met my children before they came in a dream.
Oh, yes, yes,
So
yes.
it was very cosmic and very divine. Anyway, so again, she's like, know nothing about men, understand relationship, none of that stuff. So she hired me and said, I need to know what men require. Like, how do I get a man
Mhm.
who's gonna want to be the man, provide, protect, cherish, give support, lead, and help me live the life so I could take care of these children with him.
Mhm.
Right, very traditional. And sure enough, right? Sure enough, she ended up in Los Angeles, right? Found himself a man who is just, she says he about given up. The guy's successful, makes a lot of money,
Mhm.
travels a lot, works a lot, right? So dating is hard when you're that kind of busy, right?
Right.
And when a dating app, anyway, the man had given up finding a wife because that's what he wanted. He was successful because he wanted a wife, he wanted some children, right?
Mhm.
He'd build a kingdom and he wanted to leave a legacy beyond his kingdom, like the money that he's making. Could not find a wife, could not find a woman who wanted to be, they wanted to be wives, but they didn't want to be mothers, right? They didn't want to be wives and mothers, they wanted to be married,
Mhm.
right? And it's like, that's not, I'm not going to marry you just because you want comfortable life, right? The requirement. Anyway, so she learned everything. She attracted him. The guy is masculine. He knows that the provide instinct naturally, like completely traditional. They now have two children,
Oh,
right? He lives in a huge house. And she goes, you know what, Jay? She goes, thank you for all you taught me because now I understood masculinity. I understand my place, what he needs from me in order for him to. But she goes, get this. It's so simple because I check with her constantly. Because
sure.
it's been 7 years, 7 to 8 years together, maybe a little bit more now. She says, it's so simple. All I have to do is give him what he needs. That's all I have to do. I have to give him what he needs. You know what I mean? She goes at 8 o'clock at night, 8:30, right? When he's home, because he travels a lot. When he's home at 8:30 at night, what he wants is me sitting next to him
Right.
in bed. He wants to be sitting next to him in bed. Whatever he's doing, watching TV, reading something, going, he wants to be sitting right there. And if I don't, he gets mad. Where you
Mhm.
at? I'm doing the dishes because I don't want to wake up to that stuff. I don't want you to see in the morning. I don't care about the dishes. Get over here,
Right.
right? So she used to like defend herself by trying to like be a girl, right? And but she goes, all I need to do is provide him and give him what he wants from me,
Right.
right? My attention, my affection, my time, my presence, my nurturing, loving ways that the children are taken care of. He's not worried about that. You know what I mean? And when it's all said and done, he just wants to be with me, right? And she goes, the more I give him what he needs, right? The
Mhm.
more he goes out there and makes more money for us. The
Right.
more I give him what he needs, the more powerful he is, right? And the more comfortable we live in this house. And now my mother lives with us because, she could help and we have the space for that. We have the time, right?
Yep.
Anyway, so again, this is a woman like who realized there's two lanes. And again, she's the one that actually taught me the expression, I want to stay in my lane. I want to be in the love lane, not the money lane. I could be in the money lane, but it's going to cost me my love lane. So I chose the love lane, and I don't really care about proving anything to the world, in the money lane and my brain, right? I get to raise my children. I used to be present, put them to sleep, wake them up in the morning, feed them, nurture them, love them, blah, blah, blah. She goes, that's having it all.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Well, and I think that goes back, you really honed in on that topic, feeling unseen beyond a woman's body or role, right? Men love intelligent women. They love women
absolutely.
that are industrious. They love women that they can trust, that are financially capable, generous, strong, discerning. All this is extremely, shall I dare say, biblical. And this is all the Proverbs 31 woman.
Yep.
Not once does it say weeks, submitted, shy, afraid to move, can't make
Right.
money. I mean, she's an investor. She's wise. She's kind. She whispers in her husband's ear. I'm confident that your client sits next to her husband, and he'll, on occasion, there's this issue, blah 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 blah, and she'll go, have you thought about this? And he
Yep.
goes, oh, okay,
Thank you,
back
babe.
to the TV show or
Yeah.
back to
Yeah.
whatever it is, you know what I mean? But that's that moment where his mask is off, his guard is down, he's got his arm around her, she's got his head on his shoulder, and it is just, being in that love lane. It's like, once again, I think the confusion comes in that women don't really understand
Yeah.
the role that is just so juicy for them, so full of love, so complete and fulfilling. And that, yes, it's not what's beautiful to a man is her strength and her honor. What's beautiful to a man is the way she shows up with the children. What's beautiful to a man is that she's appreciating him and taking out time to be with him. He don't care about them dishes. What does he
Uh,
care?
uh,
As a matter of
uh.
fact, he'll throw them away. We'll go buy. I can't tell you how many times my husband said something like that.
Put in the trash.
He'd be like, just throw it away, babe. We'll buy some more. Just throw it away. And I'm like, I'm such a saver. I'm like, it goes against my core. I'm like,
I'm laughing.
oh,
I'm laughing because I've said it. I've said it.
right,
Just
right.
trash it. I don't care. We'll buy some more.
We'll just buy another one. And I'm like,
Oh
oh,
my goodness, it's funny.
right. It is funny, but what is it? And so that really kind of goes to the next section, which is that who are you? That is an integral part of the Queen's Garden question in the conversation. Why doesn't he appreciate you? Who are you being?
Mm,
Who have you become in the relationship? Who are you showing up as? Are you peaceful? Is your home peaceful? Are you trustworthy? Are you wise? Or are you what was I think we mentioned it last 2 weeks ago, where a man is better to be waterboarded by ISIS than to be living with a nagging woman. The
yep.
Bible actually says, "Go hide in a cave, go
Right.
do what you got to do." That it is worse. That it is the ultimate in torture for men.
Uh,
Is this correct? I think it's the
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It's the opposite of bring me peace. If you're gonna, nag me, it's the opposite of the peace that I need after I've been fighting the world all day long. Coming home, I need to come home to peace and harmony and quiet and soft, again, soft place to land. I need to recover from the day's work so I could go back tomorrow and do it again. Now, women will say, "Well, I need the same thing because I work all day too." I get it.
right.
I get it. And that's actually something you might want to rethink. That's what I'm talking about. Right? Maybe you want to rethink this. My wife works. We keep bringing, I keep bringing her into the conversation because I think she has the perfect life.
Mhm,
Because she's a ballerina. She's been dancing her whole life. That's her passion. That's her love. That's what like that's her identity, right? That's right.
mhm,
And she's been teaching the past 18 years at the colleges, two colleges in Los Angeles. So she gets to nurture young adults into the world of ballet, which is what she's passionate about.
mhm,
Fantastic. It lights her up. She contributes to the world in that way. Blah, 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 blah. All the goodies that she comes from that. However, she does it part time,
right.
not full time. It's not 60-hour weeks. It's not 40-hour weeks. It's part time. She gets
Mhm,
all the benefits, right? And all the nurturing that she gets from taking care of these young adults, men and women. And the second half of her life, the other part time is us. It's the
mhm,
household. It's the kids. It's me, right? And she's actually the glue that keeps us all together. Because
right.
often she has like, she works on stipends. So sometimes they have like concert season. She has a regular classes plus a concert to produce. Right.
Right.
Sometimes so her schedule will fluctuate, sometimes more than I'm happy with. You know what I mean? Just because, but she loves it. So I'm not gonna keep her from that. But I'm telling you, at the moment she's no longer present, in the way that she's
Right.
typically halftime, she's here pretty much every day, taking care of everything that keeps this whole place working. And actually, I guess she's the Velcro of our family. When
Mhm,
she kind of starts being this, when we lose her, we all lose. Like
yeah,
I don't know what to do with myself. It's ridiculous 'cause I'm a grown man, but I come home and my wife's not here. I don't like this kind of a want in the space, right? I get the dog who greets me, is happy to see me, but then that's it. That lasts like what, 20 seconds. Like I don't have it. It's interesting, right? I'm watching myself as a grown man going like there's no life in my house. My wife isn't here. The kids miss her, right? They go hide in their rooms on
yeah,
some, you know what I mean? Like it's really interesting. And so eh, it's just such a joy to all of this. And again, this is a woman I think she has that's a perfect full life.
yeah.
Family, children, contributing to the world in her way, right? Gets to live in the love lane and the money lane, both balanced. Beat that. What's wrong with that?
And I
Right?
agree, and that is how heal, we have our personal care products Um, and so all of it has been made with mothers and families.
Mm,
And one of the things that we're most proud of is that we allow these families to set their own schedules, right? What works for each household.
mhm,
Some of the women don't have children. Some of them come, have grown children, or, but the ones with children, the rule is your family comes first,
mm.
right? And so all of our products are made by families, by moms, and then
Fantastic.
of course we have all the standards and the GMP and blah blah blah, the
Yeah,
little
yeah.
corporate stuff. But it's interesting because people say, "Oh, you can't do that. That won't work." It does if you're committed to it. If you're committed to moms being moms and allowing them, they work harder and more committedly than anyone else because they appreciate that they get to have that little extra pocket money. They call it a little extra,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
homeschool money, a little extra field trip money, whatever it is, right?
Yep.
And then they feel like they're contributing to the family.
Which they are. That's a big
Extras,
deal. You
right?
want to. You want to be relevant, like
But they're still able to be mom, wake the
really.
kids up, do breakfast, send them to school or
Yep.
homeschool them, whatever the case might be, see them off, see them back. And it's just been amazing, just amazing to be able to support that because they've just flourished. Every single mom has flourished.
Yep.
It just is
I'll
amazing.
tell you another story because I do a lot of podcasting, and Suzanne Vanker, she's just kind of semi-retired now, but I used to do podcasts with her on a regular basis. People would ask for me to come back to answer the question, women. But Suzanne, same story. She's like, married for 30 plus years, two children who are now just left the house, they're in college. But she goes, she was a Fox News writer. She wrote six
Mhm.
books in her career. Uh,
Mm,
she's done a bunch of different stuff, but ultimately, right, she's a relationship coach, teaching
mm,
women the way she did it, because nobody knows how to do it apparently anymore, as I see it. But she goes, you don't understand, ladies. She goes, my life has been this ebb and flow, or whatever the hell I want to do when I feel like it.
mm,
When we had the children, I was mom, and I was happy to be mom, and I did it for a few years. But even when they were little, right, I'd find ways to like start writing the book and start poking over here, and you know what I mean, and then start writing for Fox, you know what I mean, part time, which was very proud of this. And then she goes, when I didn't feel like it anymore, it was too much work, I'd stop and then focus more on the kids and the family and kind of recovering and kind of like relining up with that energy that and then I got a little bit restless and I went back out there. She goes, my entire life I went in and out of businesses, I wrote
mm,
books, I spoke in public, I became a coach because my husband is holding together 60-hour weeks. He gives me the
mhm,
freedom to move in and out of whatever the hell I want to do when I want to do it, whether it's raising the children or producing something, writing a book, right? She goes, I would not have the quality of my life, this life, without this man who's happy to go kill himself out there
mhm,
to keep us all healthy, right? Safe, to provide, to protect, and watch me contribute to the world in the ways that fit me, that fit us, that fit the family. Like I just move in and out as I please, as I felt, as I had the energy or lack thereof. She goes, how do you beat that, lady? So what is
right.
it, So you think that being a boss is going to give you that satisfaction? You're going to burn out, you're going to be lonely. And then there's plenty of examples of that. And it's just pathetically, it's really sad, right? That women don't even consider that. And it takes me back into the next thing that I'm noticing in the culture is that since women don't want to be mothers and wives anymore because, right, they're better than that. My sister's one of those, right? They now their identity, they have a need, their need to seek some kind of identity. And like man, their identity becomes their work, and it's the beginning of the dismantling of everything that makes sense for them, that makes them happy, right? Women want a title, an identity, right? I'm a surgeon, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a CEO, I'm a blah, 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 anything but I'm a mom and a
Mhm,
wife, right?
mhm,
Because they're supposed to be better than that. So they live in the men's world, finding an identity through their work, to literally find himself an identity. Who am I? Because I'm not going to be
mhm.
a mom and a wife. I'm better than that. Like, do you see what I'm saying? So the whole thing is pulled away from what is more natural, which is
Well, it goes
feminine.
back to what I touched on earlier, women do not know what they want. I was just sitting here reflecting and I'm like, in the Queen's Garden, one of our main classes is, what do you want? What is your deepest desire? And there's a process that we go through. And here's the cheat code, everybody. It always ends up that they want to be loved. It always ends up that they want to be appreciated. It always want, and it's always because they don't feel worthy, they don't feel whatever the racket is, and it's like, so they go and they get these jobs, they get these degrees, they get these careers, all these titles, and it's like nonsense, because if they just were loved and I have to throw in, they don't receive love.
Right.
So
Well, yep.
here's the opportunity. I have women in the Queen's Garden class that are like, oh, well, he wanted to pay for my air conditioner and rent. I'm not going to let him. That's all.
Because I'm gonna owe him, and I don't want that.
Right.
That's very masculine, by the way. That's what men
I
do.
don't want him to have something on me.
That's what men do.
I'm
That's
like,
what men. Oh,
what is he gonna do? Come to you and say, "Hey, babe, you got to have sex with me 10 times because I just paid your rent"? I mean, come on. I mean,
yeah.
this doesn't happen.
That's
He
no. Yeah.
generously wants to do this. He wants to be your hero. He wants to be your provider. He wants to be your protector.
He wants to
Like,
impress
so they
you.
don't know what they want and they don't know how to receive.
Yeah.
It is just really become a dangerous, dangerous,
Yeah.
dangerous game.
By the
And
way, yeah. So
go
sorry.
ahead.
So sorry. No, I mean, just by the way, this is all being in your masculine. That's what happens when you
Right.
disconnect from your own essence. You act like men. You're masculine. You're in your
Mhm.
head, right? You need to feel relevant like men. Like have a make a dent in the world like men. Again, a lack of identity. Find an identity. I am. I do. This is who I am. I'm a CEO. I'm a boss. I'm a this. I'm a that. Whether it's like you could be beautician is still a title. That you know what I mean, but because there's no longer the idea of mother, family, children, right?
Right.
So it becomes a masculine paradigm, and in the end, you become a client,
Well,
which is
and
not
going
what I
back
want.
to, they are acting too masculine, but they're also being brainwashed. They're allowing their social media, they're allowing our governments, they're
Yeah,
allowing
yeah,
all of it. Money, 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 money. How many Nike tennis shoes do you need? How many cars do you need?
yeah,
How many vacations do it does become empty and hollow. I'm not saying it's not fun. Hello, no, we all like to travel and see things. But maybe a good question is that what do men value? What is beautiful to a man and a woman? What is it that turns them on? Of course we know lingerie, so we got that. We got it. We got it. But our day to day, there's some memes going around on Instagram where it's like how I see my wife, and it's kind of funny because you have a picture of her with rollers in her hair and a bathrobe on, and he's like, all he sees is the lingerie that may or may not be on underneath that bathrobe, right? But really, what are some, examples that a man would value that would encourage a woman to go, hey, I am that way. I could be that way. I want to be that way. Maybe I need to consider this feminine role.
yeah. No, so again, in a nutshell, for me, I would say, um, the concept that you have to follow the sisterhood in order to be part of the sisterhood is problem number one, right?
Hmm.
To be part of the sisterhood, if strong, independent, powerful, that's all masculine, and it'll cost you the magnetism that comes from being in your femininity. When
Hmm.
women are masculine, they are no longer visible to us masculine men.
Hmm.
It might as well be an ice cube. Everything warm, feminine, lovely, radiant, joyful, like all of that is feminine energy to be present, to bring me into your presence, right? To get me out of my head and give me it's all due to your feminine magnetism, to be in your body, to be
Hmm.
masculine is to be in your head, to be in your body, to be feminine. But when women live like men, they live in their heads. How many times I hear a woman say, I work hard and there's like 7 guys on my floor that are perfectly like matched for me, like age wise and, perfect bachelors, right? Don't have girlfriends and stuff. And there I am, I'm young and pretty, I work hard. Do you know what I mean? And these guys don't see me. The guys like nobody wants to date me, and I flirt and I just whatever I can, and they literally don't respond. I'm like, because you're masculine.
Is your ice, ice, ice
And
baby?
when you're
What's that song?
masculine, yes, when you're masculine, you're in your head. When you're in your head, we don't see you. You disappear from our radar. Nothing lovely, warm, radiant is coming from a woman in man mode. And ultimately, even it's not only that we don't see you. sometimes when you and try and insist to be seen, in a masculine way, right, we just turn away and walk away because it's irritating.
Right.
So everything you think is men want is typically what men don't want. Masculine men are not interested or attracted to masculine energy women, period.
Mm,
Masculinity, if you're going to understand polarity is nature, everything in nature is polarized. Masculine men are looking for feminine women. And if
mhm,
I have to explain to you what femininity is, then you have a big problem. And that's where it starts, right? Warm, radiant, nurturing, loving, kind, smiley, happy, right? Like it's magnetic, right? Connecting. It's very simple, right? You see feminine woman, which is like rare nowadays, right? She's a magnet. Men
yeah,
want to be around that energy. Men will take care of the energy, right? Men will say, when you're in that lovely warm energy, if you're working with men, you'll get some like, are you hot? Are you cold? I'm going to the coffee room. Do you want some water? I'm kind of better. Like attention, we become attentive to you because it's so precious. It's such a uplifting energy for us. Again, you have to have a male body to get this, right? You have a sense of it, but you don't really understand like that.
yeah,
It just uplifts our spirit. It's like sunshine on my face, like a breath of fresh air to be in the presence of a feminine woman. And we are so delighting in that. It's such a yin to my yang and inspires me. We want to protect it naturally. All women who are feminine get protected. By the way, men only protect feminine women, just so you know. So if you
mhm,
feel abandoned by men, which energy are you driving with?
mhm,
I could do this all day long, right? So it's that simple. Men, masculine men who do everything you want, provide, protect, share, give, support, lead, and pay instinctively, naturally, no manipulation needed. Masculine men do this, require
mhm,
you to be in your feminine, otherwise you're invisible. That's all I
mhm.
want to say. So it's not, it's
No,
it's
and
on
I
you.
agree. My husband, I can tell when he loves it when I'm giggling. He loves it when I'm playful.
Yep.
He loves it when I'm just soft and cuddly. And it's like one day, even in the tough times, I don't know what the issue was. I don't remember because isn't that how that works? You think at
Yes.
the moment it's so hot and so important. But all I remember is just going to him and just climbing in his lap, and he was irritated with me. So I said, "Man, can I please just sit in your lap? Just would you just please hold me?" And he was like, "Oh." He couldn't deny the request, even with his complete irritation with me. I
Okay.
could see this kind of confusion, and he's like, "Okay, of course," and he opens up his arms, it was the childlike, the woman in me, the femininity that just really just, all of me snuggled in his lap,
Yeah.
I would just like put my head on his shoulder. I don't even know what I said. I just was like, "I'm sorry," or "I love you," and whatever. But it was so healing for both of us. But it was that and I could just feel his strength, and I could just feel his pride and not arrogance, not like right.
No, 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 right? Like
It was
a
just this like completeness. I know, and he says to me all the time, he goes, "I love to make you smile. I love to make you laugh.
yep.
I love to hold your hands, the companionship of it, it's all the softness, you know, um, he used to it's funny, even my facial features have changed. It used to be a point of contention between us. And it was so funny because I was always so serious and just, just, and now, he's like, "Gosh, your face is really softened up. It's so soft." And so even now I'm more approachable. Now it's not so scary or what, because I'd be like, "What am I going to do? Put you in timeout?" I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Like this masculine response, like, "What's wrong with you?" So it's just in that softness, the manifestation of being feminine, of knowing who I am, of being woman, and just being all of it. I used to play. As a matter of fact, in the beginning of our relationship, when we did, he's very playful. He would play with me, and I did not react positively, like at all. I mean, it was just I brought my past into my
Yeah.
relationship, right?
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, and so I've healed that part, but it's like so interesting the contrast when I think how I used to be, it didn't work. And because now he has the story that I almost broke his kneecap. Mm.
Okay.
And now he's like, I love it when you're so playful. I love your smile. I love your, and it just makes him beam. Like,
Yes.
so
Well,
crazy.
completely. Again, the yin yang, the polarity. So I'm going to say this because you and I never talked about this, but let me just wrap it up in one sentence where you
Yes,
just described. This man makes you feel safe.
yes,
And
yes.
when you feel safe, you could relax and let go into your feminine. Now, I know your life has been a kick in the head. You know, a lot of us have had our head kicked in childhood. Do you know what I mean? And you can be feisty, and a lot of my women are feisty, masculine, and angry because,
Mhm,
their beginnings were rough. I get it. Do you know what I mean? But the remedy here, again, is really clean yourself up, do your inner work,
mhm,
right? So that you can actually bond with a healthy other human being. And
mhm,
as a woman, ultimately, to feel safe, to be connected, to have somebody cherish you, right? Because that's what men do, masculine men do. But you have to let us and you have to clean up your crap in order to
mhm,
be able to receive that. Because again, masculine women don't know how to receive any longer. So all of that goes away. But look at you, like, of course your face will soften when this man's allowed to be not only masculine, but just like energetically just slipping into your feminine, feeling safe, connected, which is
mhm,
that's all a woman wants, feeling
mhm,
connected and safe, right? You feel
mhm.
connected and safe. As long as you're connected and he's talking to you and everything. And guess what? We live for that energy because when you're good, I'm good. When you're happy, I'm happy, right? When you're at peace because you feel safe and relaxed, you bring me peace. Do you understand how simple that is? But it requires you to allow me to be me in order for you to slip into your lane, which where you're the happiest, in flow, more feminine, more relaxed, better life, better life. Let me do the hard shit, right? So you could be in your softness because I will kill myself to keep you in that space. I
Right.
will kill myself because it feeds my soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period. So, I
Yeah.
mean, why are we fighting this for, ladies? Why are you fighting this for? All right, maybe you got trauma and injuries. I get it. Get it handled. Call me. We'll fix it.
Well,
Right?
like I say to every woman in class, you know, don't blame don't blame your good husband, your good man for everything that somebody else did. That's
Right.
not fair.
Right.
Not
Right.
cool.
Don't bleed on people who didn't cut you.
Right. Exactly.
I'm just saying. All right, we could do this all day long. Let's wrap it
I
up
know.
because again, we could go on and on.
I
Thank you
know.
again. So, how do people find you?
Thequeensgarden.com or myheal, HEAL shop.com. And classes start next Tuesday. Tuesday coming up, 27th, 7 to 9. Check us out online and we would love to have you.
Go inquire. Absolutely. Ladies, go inquire. For me, projectequinox.net. Um, and I'm doing the next thing we're doing. I do like a live events once a month typically, but the big one coming up in December, we're going to have a all-day event that will start with leadership dynamic stuff, the stuff we're talking about, uh, exercise, physical exercise in understanding the energy you bring into a relationship, magical, magical stuff, but you have to be in person to experience it. And that's the
Yep.
only way that it moves the needle on your nervous system to experience ladies feeling safe, right?
Yep.
And for men to experience being an appropriate leader, right?
Mhm.
And then we're going to food, wine, and a dance party afterwards. So, and
I
we
was
have
I was gonna say, I bet you there's dancing involved.
of course, that's the good part. So we learn, we learn, we learn, we learn, we learn, we challenge, we answer questions, and then we go have some fun. And again,
Amen.
the mixing of the masculine and feminine is ultimately what you experience in that event. And just you'll watch my wife and I be together, and we're kind of a model. One of my favorite lines, it was in my TED talk last Christmas. We had a party, dance party, of course, and my buddy Vinny, who's always been around me since the beginning of time, he was my best man. He's always been around us, so he's been watching us through life this whole time. And it's like we're dancing. I don't know. I think we're doing a salsa, maybe a tango, And afterwards, he's like, he corners me, he goes, "You know what, Dre?" He goes, I know what you're up to and it's fantastic, but he goes, if you could just teach me how to have a woman look at me the way Nancy looks at you, he goes, dude, I'd be set for life. And I'm like, Vinny, that's so sweet. He goes, no, but seriously, like he goes, whatever you guys have, the yin yang, right? The masculine, like she's so happy, she feels so safe, and you're so appropriately masculine with her, with devotion and sensitivities. He goes, it's amazing to watch you guys together. And so, some people don't have role models for this.
Right.
So again, if you're going to show up, there'll be many layers of understanding, I want to say. Anyway, that said,
Amen.
back again in 2 weeks. We do this every 2 weeks. And again, we're just stripping on you guys some of our life experiences, on life experiences and learnings and stuff that I think ultimately works better, right? Everything I say, everything you say has nothing to do with our opinion. It's like it's nature, science, biology, anthropology, psychology. It's the nature of human beings, and what the way we've always connected, come together is pretty traditional.
Mhm.
Now we have to do it in a modern way. We get it. We're not going back to the 50s, but it's a way to do all this, right? And maybe today, because of the culture, we have to learn. The same
Mhm.
way, if you want to do a cha-cha, you're gonna have to learn the cha-cha. That means you have to practice the cha-cha, get the tools and practice, right? Nowadays, relationships are the same. So that's what we're here for, disruptors.
Yes.
And so onward and forward, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks, Dali.
2 weeks. All
Thank,
right, my friend.
thank you for your wisdom and your
So,
thoughts and your words and your love. Appreciate
all
you.
right. Yeah.
Okay, see you. Bye. Hold on. Stop recording.
Got it.
Stay with me. I gotta go off of YouTube. And there. Ta-da! Good job. It's always interesting where we go with this. Always very,
Yep.
very interesting. Because we
Yep.
start with a little thing and it goes woo wherever it needs to go. It's really cool. Really, really cool.
It is.
Do you
Yes.
do you have this space? I was just thinking about this. Like, should we consider doing this weekly? Or is it too much? It would be a lot
Right
for me as
now,
well. Yeah.
right now for me, it's too much
Okay, perfect. Because
because
for me too, honestly, for me
yeah,
too. But I'm just thinking, like, if we're gonna, apparently that rhythm
I
of once
know.
a
It
week is
is
the same
good.
about,
It's
you know what I
so
mean? But
great. I got it. So what we're doing is, doing all the podcasts, putting them up appropriately, da da da, but we're
yep,
gonna take them and turn them into reels
yep,
so that those can be posted in between
yep,
and keep that momentum going.
yep, yep.
We're working with, we finally got our computers upgraded so that we can work with
Mm,
Claude Code to take
yep.
this podcast and turn it into 20 reels.
Oh, wait, have you used Opus Clips?
Opus Clips,
Yeah.
OPUS,
Yeah, OPS Clip. It's a like it's
OPUS, is that how?
OPUS, Opus Clip.
Okay,
Clip clips. I used it last week for the first time. Somebody put me onto it. The lady that I'm doing
oh,
the
okay,
workshop with,
okay,
right? So, and I took our last interview, our last conversation, me and you, the one,
okay,
right? I uploaded for free because you do the first couple for free,
okay.
right? And it gave me 40 different clips of us talking.
Wow,
And
wow.
again, even for free, and then I downloaded the ones that I like more, because
Yep,
you know what I mean? Because and
yep,
it gives you a title on top
sure.
to start. So it gives you a title, right? You and
Sweet.
me. Sometimes we're one above each other. Sometimes just me. Sometimes it's just you,
Mhm.
right? But it's for completely free now. Apparently, the membership, if you're going to do it, is $68 a year. So the whole world is using Opus Clip. And all you
Okay,
have is just you download, you throw a video and watch it just,
wow,
and it gives you like 20, 30, 40, 50, depending how long it is.
wow,
Without you doing anything. Forget Claude, forget AI. It does,
okay,
it's an AI tool, but it actually
is
does,
it?
what it does is takes content and makes clips and titles. And you'll freaking love it. I just discovered
Okay,
it.
okay,
Okay, so the free version you could play with, you know, it's a little clunkier, but apparently,
okay,
yeah, apparently $68 a year. Come on. What?
right.
So
I agree. Okay,
like
thanks. That's great.
that'll help Sylvia,
But I think that keeps that consistency
for
going,
sure, for sure, for sure.
which is super, super important because what
Right.
we're doing here is super good. And it's just right now I'm implementing a CRM. It's just
Yeah, I know.
this
It's
stuff.
yeah, I know.
And
The business part of it. Do you? I'm thinking just continuing the exploration of possibilities, right?
okay,
So December 5th is when I have this event here in LA.
okay,
I'm considering having guest speakers because the first
mm,
part of it, the speech part of it is 4 hours.
okay,
And then we'll go dinner and wine and party, right? So
sure,
there's plenty of content for me to fill, but I'm wondering, I mean, that's a long way for you to travel, and the idea is to fill up a room,
right.
like kind of cost pollinate our list to get them together. Like, you know, it's a long shot, huh? I'm
No,
trying to figure
I
out.
mean, it's not that I couldn't do it. I have our holiday office party the day before, so
Oh,
that's a
oh.
conflict with.
Well, there you go. It's okay. But again, the same thing, the idea of, again, if it's a new business model that I'm trying to um, flex and learn
Mhm.
is
I mean, if it was the
to
12th, I
join,
could do it, or I
right,
could move the office party.
right, to join venture, right, cross pollinate,
Yep,
do what we do here, but do it live.
yep,
Uh, the business model is more if you're gonna be doing in person, right? You want to JV with somebody who's local, so to bring their people, right? That's a group effort.
yep.
So anyway, I'm plugging in all this. So
No, I'm open to, I tell my team, throw it at the wall, see what sticks,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
But you and I, there's no reason why we shouldn't do Zoom stuff.
mhm,
You know what I
mhm.
mean? Beyond like this stuff, it's just this conversation, like having some kind of some events, like
Oh, got it.
you know
Yes,
what I mean?
yes, yes.
How they do Zoom event, like a two, three
Yep,
hour, like you and
yep.
me, bring all the people together, and give them some juicy stuff. I
Oh, it could
have
be hysterical. You could do your whole
st-
Manglish thing, and I could go, now, Andre, calm down now. Don't get them all wired up.
I do this with a woman here live. She does retreats, and she hires me. It's a 3-day retreat, but she hires me on day one to do the
Nice.
dance relationship, the dynamic stuff, the stuff that I do in my workshop. It's brilliant exercise, so simple, but you have to be in person to get it,
Yep,
to really kind
absolutely.
of visually.
Yep,
Um, but often, like me and her, like you and me, right? So she'll give an example of dating in a masculine,
yep.
right? And then we don't rehearse this stuff, but like it becomes like completely um it's real. She goes from being lovely, she has her hair down, right? She talks, she gets this to me, and she teaches the lady how to be a girl when you meet a guy.
Right.
It's
Yep,
flirty, natural,
yep,
right? Blah, body
yep,
language and all that stuff, and touching him on the arm. Do you know
yep,
what I mean? And then she goes, okay, now I'm gonna do the same thing, same girl in the masculine. So she puts her hair
yep.
on top of her head. She throws a jacket on, right? She goes, all right, so, right? And I'm like, what the, right? And we did literally
Right.
role play in front of them, right? What it
Sure.
looks like to be in
Right.
that space, that energy. And it's
Yep.
funny as hell. So you and I have the same kind of dynamic. So it'd be fun. But we could do this on Zoom, seriously.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
and so, I mean, as I said, I know you're busy. I know you're busy, but this logistically much easier. We just have to
My
find.
2027 is open. My 2026, just for some reason, as I'm implementing final processes for Heal, so
Yeah,
that I can have more time. Obviously, you have to
you're good.
invest time to get time.
Yep,
That's where
yep,
I'm
yep.
at.
You're good.
So,
All right, so we'll talk later. I'm just saying, my brain is rumbling as I'm opening chat. Like I'm
absolutely. No, I'm
downloading.
in. And
If
then
I
my class is done the 12th, November 12th. So
okay.
that, as you know, that just takes a lot.
Oh God, no kidding. Absolutely. So one thing at a time. I'm just shooting arrows in the future here.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Absolutely. I'm in. Yep. Sign me
Love
up.
it. So meanwhile, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Go check out Opus Clips.
I am. I have it on right
Seriously.
now.
Yep. Like I said, and yeah, we'll discover, make it easier.
Yes.
All right,
Fantastic.
Dolly.